Hi, my name is Adrian. Welcome to Emotional Bandwidth. Let's begin. So this is part 3 of a 3-part primer that I had written, which kind of illustrates all the main highlights of Emotional Bandwidth, the series I have here on Instagram and on YouTube and Facebook. If you are interested in any of these topics in depth, I have specific episodes that each of these particular bullet points discuss in a much more deeper and broader sense. But here are my last 4 pieces to this. The other 2 parts I put out in the past 2 weeks if you want to check them out. So here we go. I had a conversation with a friend that illustrated a great stepping stone to wisdom. You must first acquire experience to gain wisdom. The issue is, most of the time, people try to impart wisdom on us without having tangible experiences in which to gauge and apply it. What's more important is that we are receptive to experiences, and when we are confronted with instances or situations that we are not equipped to handle, we can then apply said wisdom to those circumstances. My second point. Change cannot happen until one has accepted the circumstances that they want to change. For instance, a lot of people want to get healthier and feel better by losing weight. I, for one, was part of this contingent for most of my teenage and young adult years. I had so many starts and stops and frustrations. I became down on myself and the prospect of actually losing weight and consistently working out. But I discovered 2 things that profoundly affected this undertaking. Sometimes, the environment plays a very key role in your actions. Case in point, in my close friend circle, I had a person who was always ridiculing my actions and negative about every decision I made in regards to exercise and diet. It wasn't until a set of circumstances removed him from my life that I began to notice that the positivity and encouragement I had seen and received in the remaining circle not only aided my confidence, but made me realize I had put undue pressure on myself without ever accepting that any changes I was trying to make were impossible until I first realized and saw that. I had to accept that I looked the way I looked and I felt the way I felt. For so many people, myself included, we fight with ourselves and hide from ourselves because the truth is the truth, and depending on our personal perspective, it can be harsher than it is. Truth is just truth, and what we attach to that is what makes things harder or impossible to accept. We can never change what we have not accepted. Once I was able to say I was not as healthy as I would like to be, and I had the support system to help with those changes, it was easier than you would expect. Now, for people saying they do not have the support system, I totally get it. And I am started this project because I believe you have to be the change you want to see. So I want to personally be that positive and yet honest person you may need to help springboard you into the changes you wish/want to see. I also picked up more positive energy and encouragement from strangers and people who didn't know me that saw what I was doing and saw the consistency. Everything requires momentum, but momentum will not begin until we foster personal belief. Keep in mind, my friends aided and supported my journey, but they were not the reason for it. If I kept tying my results to outside influences, I never would have been able to make the choices necessary to succeed, good or bad. We have to accept, then take action. The decision to either do or not do will come with that process. My third point. Learning to not attach feelings to events in your life before actually processing the events is another key to personal success and realization. The more we attach our biases and fears and insecurities onto a situation, we narrow our chances to drastically understand, accept, and take action. One common example of this are the social dynamics involved in finding a romantic partner. A lot of times, we like someone, and once we make or express our feelings of interest, if it's not reciprocated or welcomed in kind, we attach our feelings of rejection and insecurities to the situation. It is okay to be disappointed about it not working out in your favor, but it is not okay to then project those feelings on the person in question. Their decision to be with you or not be with you is as simple as, no, this person does not see you that way. But often we try to attach a why to the equation, and then shortly after we start to question ourselves and our own self-worth. People make choices for their own personal reasons. It's personal to them but has nothing to do with you. Once we are able to step back from a situation and see it for what it is, we will cease to attach the added weight we usually do and accept it. We can then take the action of moving on. It's when you start to apply that same idea to all the facets of your life, it will create that emotional bandwidth for you, as you will not be emotionally involving yourself and attaching feelings and emotions unnecessarily to events and circumstances in your life you have no direct control over. And lastly, No idea is wholly original, but intention is. All the things I'm talking about and expressing come into play in the larger picture. Humanity, us, we all are in need of each other. The world is in a pivotal place. While we have access to more information and perspectives than ever before, we are not as a whole equipped nor prepared for what that means. Truth is truth, and facts are facts, but in receiving information, we have reached a point where sometimes we attach our personal feelings to truths and facts and then either distort them or ignore them altogether. We will never see what we are shown unless we step back and stop applying our biases and personal feelings, insecurities and fears to the world and to others. We all have the ability to impact and make a difference in all of our communities and societies, in our families and friends, in our partners and associates. But we have to take personal responsibility, not for how others feel because it's their responsibility to personally take care of themselves, but as a whole, if we start being accountable for ourselves, it will make it impossible to ignore others when they need help, or if certain truths or facts are muddling their lives and making it hard to gain that personal momentum that I speak about. The intention we create and express in the world is truer than anything you can personally see, and it inspires people and creates bonds that together are tough to break. We have to learn to trust ourselves and trust that we walk in sincerity first and empathy second. It is the only way to affect ourselves and the lives of others in a positive way. We are all responsible for ourselves, and once we recognize that truth in self, it's impossible to not recognize it in others. Potential was all this was until I placed intention upon it. It was my intention to awaken or at least strike a modicum of momentum in you. The momentum to take responsibility for your own life and your own actions. To realize that nothing is personal, and yet it is. We affect ourselves more than others ever can, and the sooner we realize that, the sooner we can make the changes needed to elevate ourselves first and then elevate others second. Then we can complement each other instead of taking away from each other. Creativity can really grow and be abundant, and we will all prosper, but it is a personal mission first and foremost, and we must keep that in mind in whatever we do. This has been Emotional Bandwidth. My name is Adrian. Thanks for listening. Take care.